channel. I know people, man. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. What a time to come back as well. I'll probably come back at the not the least most important time, but probably the least difficult fixture. Do you know what I mean? That we're gonna have in these next few games. Do you know what I mean? Portsmouth 1, Arsenal 4. I've missed out on so many things, people. Do you know what I mean? I've missed out on United getting rid of their manager, Chelsea getting rid of their manager. Do you know what I mean? But you know what? We'll probably get into all of that a little bit more at another time, man, honestly. But first off, Arsenal, obviously, third round FA Cup game. And yeah, started off with a bit of a shock, people. I can't lie. Do you know what I mean? We're gonna get into a couple other games as well that we've played recently, man. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, 4-1 Martinelli hat trick. I don't want to say it in it. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to be that negative, Nelly, but I don't know, man. Like all of our goals kind of came from set pieces, man. It's just a bit, you know, there was there. Like obviously, we're bottom of the table. Sorry, no, not bottom of the table, but they're in the relegation battle, Portsmouth, in the championship, and they've recently been promoted, small budget, and all of that stuff. Do you know what I mean? Look, credit to them. Do you know what I mean? They came out. You know what I mean? They showed passion. They worked hard in it. Do you know what I mean? But it seemed like set pieces were their kryptonite, and obviously with us, our set pieces being our strength, boy, like, you know what I mean? We're going to score goals. Do you know what I mean? We're going to get results in that way. But, I have to say that first 5 to 10 minutes, they were on us like fly on shit, like bees on honey, you know? And look, this is not just a this game thing. I think this is an Arsenal thing in general where certain things are about approach play, you know what I mean? We try to play out back a little bit too much. We want to draw the opposition out. When a bit of chaos comes, you know what I mean, we struggle to deal with it. And it showed in this game as well against Portsmouth. As well as it did with Bournemouth. Not necessarily that we were getting pressed as much, but, you know, obviously got a mistake. But we'll get into that more a bit later, innit? Do you know what I mean? But now, obviously, you could say that Kepa should have done better with the save. Do you know what I mean? He could have parried it out a bit more, but it's just this is what it is. Do you know what I mean? It's the old fuck around and find out kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Alright, cool. You think you're gonna keep drawing teams like, alright, cool. We're gonna punish you. Do you know what I mean? Difference is that the quality of the team that we were up against today. You know what I mean? They weren't saying much in terms of quality. I think it's all there in terms of endeavour, but in terms of quality, it wasn't there. But funny enough, you should say that they almost had as many shots as us, which again is very it's uninspiring, people. It's uninspiring. You know, I don't even want to talk about a makeshift lineup or a lot of rotation, blah blah blah. Like obviously, championship is still a good level, like it's professional football. But at the end of the day, I'd expect you to do at least a bit more than what we did today. Do you know what I mean? But again, it comes from the approach play, man. We're always trying to draw teams out, and we really, really struggled with that in the early stages. Once again, it was, do you know what I mean, a corner, or even worse, a corner and an own goal that kicked off the goal scoring. That is what kicked it. That is what kicked it off. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, from then on, more particularly in the second half, we're thinking, do you know what, we're gonna go on, we're gonna go ahead, and do you know what I mean? Obviously, just get through to the next round. Do you know what I mean? But it's just, yeah, man, it's just very uninspiring, people, man. I can't lie. We played the ball out the back a little bit too much. We want to draw opposition teams onto us. We couldn't really deal with the havoc. I can't lie. Aside from the way, not that with the way that was set up, but just in terms of the design of in our team, I do think that bro, we struggled to progress that ball today, man. I can't lie to you, we really did struggle to progress that ball. I'm talking more so in the early ages, in the early stages. Sorry, do you know what I mean? And we couldn't put a few passes together. We were struggling to put a few passes together. Big up AFC 87, man. Not a great performance. Scoreline discredits Portsmouth. However, job is done. Yeah, no, job is done. Job is done. Do you know what I mean? But listen, AFC 87, yeah, I know we go back and forth with this Arteta team, you know what I mean? And whatnot. Do you know what I mean? But me I'm taking a bit of a negative side today. Do you know what I mean? It's underwhelming. Big up Ryan Carr in the building as well. Do you know what I mean? It was a bit underwhelming. But what what I can say is this year. I think sometimes for minute one year we need to look at penetrating teams better because the joy that we did get in this game from open play is when we moved the ball forward quick. Do you know what I mean? I know I say all of the goals was from set pieces. Obviously, the Martinelli one at the far post on the left hand side in the second half, it was, but it was one of them things where, do you know what I mean? It was a foul, but then it was a quick free kick. Do you know what I mean? It might as well be open play. Do you know what I mean? Ball goes down to Jesus. You know what I mean? Jesus hits it early into Martinelli, and do you know what I mean? To be fair though, there was a chance in the first half, yeah, and I think it was Ben White putting a brilliant ball across the box, and regardless, Martinelli should be scoring that. You know what I mean? You should have 4 goals. That should have been an open play. That should have been an open play chance. Do you know what I mean? I'm surprised, yeah, we didn't try to do that more often. Early crossing, move the ball quick in between the lines. I'm surprised we didn't try that earlier. I'm so surprised that we didn't try that earlier. But yeah, the ball bubbled right in front of him. It does make it a bit more difficult. But brother, you read the bubble, man. You got to put that away. It wasn't even from a tight angle like that. You got to put that away, Martin. And it's mad because you scored a hat trick. You know what I mean? But it's just the third one. Man was even looking at the ball, bro. Ball came over here. Man's eyes was over there. Man just done some next shooter. Obviously, he don't go to get it in the back of the net. You know what I mean? But once again, you know what I mean? Set piece again, ole ole. Set piece again, ole ole. It's one of them ones, man. But I can't lie, man. Doing it in the FA Cup against Portsmouth, man. Like, if it's not already shameless, and by the way, there is nothing wrong here with having set pieces as a strength. There's nothing wrong with that. But when that is your main thing, yeah, that's a problem, people. I can't lie, it's a problem. Um, Notice how Odegaard played forward passes to 29. Yeah, do you know what? Do you know what LC 87? But man don't want to hear it. And really and truly, I don't want to be talking about the Swedish baker today. Do you know what I mean? I do, you know what I mean? I want to have a little bit of word about SA. We probably was going to get into your careers anyways, you know what I mean? Because I actually want to talk about that centre forward conversation. Madueke, Ben White, you know what I mean? Norgard at centre back, Lewis Skelly, like there's a few I want to get into, do you know what I mean? But I can't lie, S87, I think the overarching point is I might just waffled on, you know, like Mikel Arteta in the press conference. The point, yeah, my point from when you said Odegaard plays forward passes to 29, meaning Kai Havertz for the people that don't know, it's because Kai Havertz actually has better movement than Jokeres. Do you know what I mean? The bottom line is there's blame to go all around when it comes to the centre forward position in regards to Jokeres, but one of the things that Jokeres is not really good at is just that slant movement, man. Do you know what I mean? He's not the most agile neither. He's not the most agile. Do you know what I mean? That can affect you as well. But like his movement ain't the best, man. I can't lie to you. He's very stiff. He's very stiff, and that's probably why Odegaard will probably find it easier to make forward passes with Havertz in comparison to Jokeres. Because the only time I think there was one game it was against Olympiacos in the Champions League, and I think and that game, yeah, Odegaard played beautifully, man. Like he was, but what was happening was he was playing in passing in behind to Jokeres. But in situations where there's so much space in behind the defense, so much space, and I think when the lines are tighter, Havertz and Marino just tends to make better decision making when balls are going across the box. Do you know they just tend to make better decision making and their slight move it just tends to be better, my bro. Do you know what I mean? Because it can't always be a thing of Havertz is back. Manager's favorite. Oh, Odegaard, manager's favorite. Ooh, all of a sudden, he's playing through balls. Wonder why? Seems like they hate your careers. Rah rah rah. And it's like, nah, my bro. Like with the Eucharist thing, you have to understand. Like my man ain't. You get me? Very underwhelming. Very, very underwhelming, man. The Mane open play goal, why aren't passes like that made when Jokeres is in the box? So, so here's the thing, yeah. Here's the thing. There's two different factors that come into play. Okay. Now, those types of situation, yeah, when the ball went across the box to Martinelli, I don't think yeah the opposition defense was as tight and as compact. Do you know what I mean? I think there was a little bit of space there in it. Do you know what I mean? Now, we don't create those sort of situations often enough, and that's where the management can be better. Do you know what I mean? Then there's other occasions, and I've seen it many times with Saka, and do you know what? He tries to make the slight movement because he's not agile. His movement is not sharp. So I think people don't want to make that gamble. But I've seen him try to do that when Saka's playing on the right wing and Saka cuts and shoots and misses. I've seen that. Do you know what I mean? So okay, cool. Other players maybe not looking towards him. Do you know what I mean? The way that we play, doesn't enable his strength, so to speak. But then you have to look at the player, because let's not forget something, people. This is Arsenal Football Club we are talking about. And we have had a magnitude of strikers over the years. Depending on how old you are, obviously, you know what I mean. You would have seen Giroud, you would have seen Aubameyang, you would have seen Adebayor, you might have seen Eduardo, Van Persie, you might Henri, do you know what I mean? You might have seen Ian Wright, that was probably slightly before my time. You might have seen Anelka, and a lot of these strikers, these men are not just, I need bare space from behind. I need it played on a sixpence. I need everything to be exactly in the path, in my path. I need everything 100% catered towards me. All of the bad boy strikers that we have over the years, and I'm more specifically the AFC 87 as well, all the bad boy strikers over the years, these men weren't just static in the box and everything needs to be in particular. Ian Wright was before my time. I don't want to speak of Ian Wright. I've seen highlights of the brother, yeah, where he flicks the ball over the head of one defender, flicks over another defender, and volleys it into the ball. Jokeres couldn't do that in training, my guy. Let alone in a 90-minute game. He couldn't even do that in trade. He couldn't even do that in goals. Goals even worse because there's even tighter spaces. But he could. Do you know what? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, if he could do that in his back garden against a 14-year-old kid or something. You get me? The point I'm saying is, do you know what I mean? It's a bit of a waffle. Do you know what I mean? But the point I'm saying is that strikers in general, especially at the biggest clubs, yeah, there's always multiple things to your game. There's always multiple things to your game. It can't just be, I need the ball directly in my path. And you know what? I'm gonna go back in time a little bit here. Ruud van Nistelrooy, and I understand he didn't play for a club. Ruud van Nistelrooy. When I was a kid, yeah, do you know why this guy was so effective in the box? One slight movement, but you know what? When I was a kid at the time, I probably didn't understand that. One thing I did understand though, if you put the ball into the box to Van Nistelrooy, hey, you know that touch is gonna be on point. He can touch, shoot, boom, in one motion. Duckers can't even do that. Footballers in general, yeah, they just they just show better fundamentals than this man. And we could talk about Henri and everything that he offered. Talk about Adebayo, he had physical traits. He could hold the ball up, underrated, or maybe more so underappreciated striker. You had a Bamiyang, he can actually carry the ball. You could give the ball into him, into the channels. He will look after that ball. Do you know what? Especially, remember the first season under Una Emery, that partnership that Aubameyang and Lacazette built up. It wasn't just Lacazette supplying Aubameyang. Aubameyang would get into the channels and put that ball into Lacazette. Like, you're looking at Ekatike at Liverpool right now. Even Sergio Aguero at Man City. You look at Voltamada. Who else? I want to talk about Thiago Silva, but or whatever his name is. Who does he play for? losing my mind here, but you got Brentford, that brother there. I haven't really watched him too tough, do you know what I mean? But we know he's got a lot of goals. Do you know what I mean? Haaland. I watched a game where Haaland dropped into the pocket and played a through ball into Randers. Like, I'm just seeing other players just have better fundamentals. Like, this is not a thing of, oh, well, these man, they hate Jokeres, they don't like him. It's not that he lacks a bit. We don't, we're not helping each other enough. The management is not helping him enough. The player himself is not helping himself. And the players around him are not helping him enough. Blame to go all round. But here's an unfortunate reality with the striker position at this football club. And what this game has sort of taught me. If Jesus is up front, it's still not complete. If Havertz is up front, it's not complete. Jokeres up front, it's not complete. There's not one of our centre forward options that are screaming saying, hey, yeah, play me. None of them are. Now, Jesus had a moment or two, do you know what I mean? Little flick on here, little run the channel there, do you know what I mean? But I don't remember seeing any short action from him. It was a very scrappy game, so, do you know what I mean? There wasn't like real great chances for our centre forwards. Or whether it was Havertz, who I think one of his first touches, he drops deep and plays a through ball around the defender into was it Madueke? Or it was Jokeres, who okay, he will get fling around the majority of time, but the odd time he will get his body in front of the defender and he would just use his physicality to kind of help the ball onto an opponent. But either way, yeah, none of these guys are showing enough of a balance in all of their games, or at least basic link up shooting. At least that. None of these guys are, and obviously Havertz has just come back. He's been out for a very, very long while. Kai Havertz, yeah. Do you know what I mean? But there's not anything in this game where it's like, oh, Havertz comes back up front. All of a sudden, we're gonna start banging in. Well, he's gonna start banging in bare goals. Do you know what I mean? Because sometimes he shoots like I don't know, but like a 6-year-old girl. Like, it's crazy. It's nasty sometimes. But he has good movement. He can link up. Do you know what I mean? We're just in a weird position at this moment when it comes to this centre forward situation. And you know what? Who knows? The team might be, with Havertz linking up, the team might be better off because then maybe Saka can get into central positions. Maybe Trossard can get into more central positions, even though, you know, I mean, how we brought up down the left is a bit, well, when we brought up out wide is a bit different. But you get what I'm saying? Like, he can help towards that. Eze can play off of him and make runs behind him and whatnot. Do you know what I mean? So who knows? Maybe when Havertz plays, we're gonna start scoring their goals because, and let's be 100% honest here, yeah. Post that Jesus injury, we've probably been the best team with Kai Havertz up front. We broke our duck here, beating Man City with Kai Havertz. I think he came on in that game, played centre forward, chested it down to Martinelli. 1-0 win. This is in the 23-24 season. And because we've been stuck in this notion of 20 goals a season, 20 goals a season, and there's been moments throughout this time, yeah, where me, myself, I'm like, you know what? I think getting in the left winger is as important as getting in the striker. I think our wide players need to put up more numbers because if Kai Havertz is vacating that centre forward area and he can link up the play, then why isn't it that our wide players are getting more goals? Now, Saka had good numbers 22, 23, 23, 24. Since then, it's been a bit down. And it's not just the fact that he's had injuries. Quality ain't the same. I don't know. I don't know whether he's choosing the wrong moments to shoot. Do you know what I mean? Because I think he's and you want your attackers a bit greedy, but maybe a bit too greedy. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if it's that. You know what I mean? That shot with his weak foot near post, we don't see that anymore. Or maybe he's not getting into certain positions himself. And you know what? That is the change. That's some of the changes that you're gonna see when you have an out-and-out centre forward. But he's not supplying the striker enough. He's not getting assists or whatnot. Well, it's not really about assists, but you know what I'm saying? creating chances like that. He's not scoring either. So now everyone's not doing their bit. And as much as Trossard has been good this season, again, there are a couple of games where it's like, you know what, you should have popped up with a goal here. So I don't know. I just think our attack as a whole ain't doing great from an individual standpoint. I also do think, yeah, that we really should. Do you know what? I'm not expecting us to be gung ho for the whole 90 minutes. Absolutely not. Maybe even not even for 45. But I barely get 5-10 minutes of gung ho Arsenal. There's a lot of drawing teams at the back, and like I said earlier on in the stream, people. Like I said earlier on in the stream, we fuck around and find out, and we fuck around the back. We get pressed, boom. And do you know what it is? Yeah, you see the whole thing of the law of averages. You do something so many times, something that's unlikely. At some point, it's bound to happen. The reason why moments like Gabriel with what do you call it against Bournemouth, the reason why these situations can happen because we fuck around a lot around the back, always trying to draw teams out instead of actually trying to punch it through the lines. And getting certain players on the half time, I don't know, maybe Eze, I don't know. But no, everything has to be side to side and ahead. Do you know what I mean? But it's funny because we come up against a championship team today, and hey, how are we more successful? When we're moving the ball at pace. When we're moving the ball at pace. Do you know what I mean? And it's just as simple as that, people. It's just simple as that. Now listen, credit to Martinelli. Got the hat trick today. Do you know what I mean? Not much really to say. I don't think he was great in open play neither, but he got into some good attacking positions. Miles Lewis Skelly, people, talk to me, man. Talk to me. What's happened with this brother? And it's not just the fact that he's a centre mid and he's playing at left back. It's not just that. He handled himself last season. He handled himself so much better. He seems a bit weaker. He seems a bit slower. In the last game I was watching him, I'm like, yo, this brother, yeah, he looks like he's running in quicksand. What's happened with Lewis Skelly? Maybe he's just in bad form. He is a young player. Now let's not forget he played a lot more than he should have at that age, and that was because of injuries. Do you know what I mean? But he's not even retaining possession of the ball as well as he used to. He's not looking as strong as he used to. I remember last season, I was like, yo, this brother ain't 17. This brother is 27. He's a grown man. He shaves off his beard, and he's got kids, and he's married. This is what man was saying last season, but this season, he don't even look physically there. I don't know what's going on with him, man. Do you know what I mean? Even his passing, there's only one good moment that he had. Was it the drive and run? Was it against Bayern Munich? Can't remember what team it was now, but that drive and run. Maybe we do need to see him in midfield. Maybe we might see a different side of him. But if you're getting pressed on the ball from a wide area and you don't even look like you have the balance or the strength to hold off a man, and you like to take a lot of touches on the ball, like what makes me, and of late, I don't think you haven't really shown anything in your passing. What actually makes me think that you're going to come into this midfield and actually do anything? Especially in central areas where it's probably a little bit more congested, and you've got to have wingers. I don't know, man. Listen, big up to yourself, Skilly. You know what I mean? Like, you are still a top talent, don't get it twisted, but do you know what I mean? You ain't been so well of late. And we're going to have to allow this, brother. Whether you like it or not, whether you want to see him in midfield, we are going to have to rely on this brother. We're going to have to. Because Calafiori is injured, and you know this manager already want to keep things coy. We don't know what's happening with that situation. We don't know what's happening with that situation. Do you know what I mean? And then furthermore, Nkate has picked up an injury. So, like I said, we really, we're gonna need to rely on him, and he needs to step his game up. I don't know whether or not change his role in terms of Do you know what? He hasn't even been inverting like that of late, you know. He actually hasn't really been doing that. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know, but that situation there, people, yeah, man, we need to fix up with that one, man. We need to fix up with that one. Um, Gabriel, fairly solid, I guess. Do you know what I mean? Not the best of Gabriel, but he was just decent. Norgard at centre back. I didn't really see him in today's game. Benjamin White, oh boy, some good things, some not so good things. Had a few fouls in the game. Um, yeah, put a couple really good balls across the box. Do you know what I mean? Ended up getting a yellow card. Bit of a mixed performance from him. Marino, arguably his best performance in midfield. Um, I did think he was decent on the ball. Do you know what I mean? Won the ball back a couple of times. He put in a decent performance, man. But that's decent performance relative. I think it was average, but you know what I mean. Eberechi Eze. Yeah, we need to touch on him. We need to touch on him because I'm seeing him and Ethan in the midfield. And to be fair, I don't think both of these players should be playing in central areas. But do you know what? I get it. We're against lower opposition. Do you know what I mean? If we build out from the back and we draw teams onto us, and there's a little bit of space, having Ethan right inside channel, Eze inside left channel, or slash in the centre to then pick up the ball, drive at plays. It's not the worst of plans, but I just didn't really see him today. I didn't see him get on the ball and drive with it. Do you know what I mean? He didn't keep possession well. I also feel like he was slow to just react to general situations in the game. Like he just seems slow, man. I don't know. I don't know. It's a little concerning. I still think. Do you know what? All in all, I think this season, because of the last few performances that he's had, I think he's been a bit average. But he's helped us helped us win a couple of games, helped us rescue a defeat or two. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, man, we need to see more from him. Ethan, I don't know why he didn't get the full 90. He was very lively. At least he got on the ball, tried to drive. Do you know what I mean? Especially in that first half, yeah, I think he was better in the second half. Everyone was. But with Ethan, he tried to, at least he got on the ball, he tried to do things. He tried to drive with the ball. It was very, very frantic. And to be fair to Portsmouth, um, they really, really did a good job of putting the effort, putting the energy, trying to close us down, trying to not let us play out. They were aggressive, you know what I mean? So fair play to Portsmouth, but like I said earlier, man, set pieces was their yeah, it was their kryptonite. But yeah, no, man, Ethan tried to do things, man. Do you know what I mean? And I think he was a bit better on the ball than in comparison to Eze. Do you know what I mean? Madawake again, very lively. Do you know what? Do you know what it is? Yeah. And there was a couple of times in this game where it's like, hey, yo, Madawake, do you even know if you're in control of the ball or not? And it was one of the things that I saw at Chelsea that had me livid. It had me livid when we signed him. Absolutely livid when we signed him, man. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, he was very lively. Missed the penalty, way too relaxed. Bro, I don't know, man. Just yeah, just didn't show good composure there. Do you know what I mean? He went down again in the second half and tried to win the penalty, but I feel like he could have got past his man and kept his balance, or on an off balance thing, just put the ball into the cross. I think he just went down a little bit too easy there, looking for the pen. Do you know what I mean? Which I'm not impressed with. But he was lively. Do you know what I mean? He gave the fullback a difficult time, although I think the fullback at times fared well against him as well. Do you know what I mean? Is mixed feelings with Madueke. Not good enough, ultimately, like not good enough, but yeah, man, mixed feelings with him. Kepa, I don't know, I think he had a solid game. The only critique I have of him was for the first goal, that initial save. You should have parried it out wide, man. You should have parried it out wide. Do you know what I mean? You got to do a bit better there. But look, all in all, boy, listen, we got the job done, man. We got the job done 4-1, and ultimately the result is the most important thing. I just wish we had shown a bit more from open play um, against a championship team that's currently engaged in a relegation battle. It doesn't sit well with me. Um, just a bit of our pro. I don't know. In the end, you know, what I mean, they kind of got tired out, and in the end, you know, what I mean, we pretty much gained control. I just think that moments like conceding that goal, you can kind of avoid that. You know what I mean? Being more convincing from open play, you can prove that just by playing through the lines a bit quicker and just not always having this plan of constantly having to draw teams out. Because then moments like the first goal will happen. Moments like Gabriel will happen because it's so many passes. At some point, someone's bound to be in the wrong position, and he's gonna think. And because it's all system based and it's all, do you know what I mean? It's all patterns of play. At some point, someone's gonna be out of position, and an opposition attacker is gonna take advantage, and bang, they're gonna score. This is what it is, man. But listen, we move fourth round. We've got Chelsea coming up in the Carabao Cup semi final. I believe we are at the Emirates in the first what do you call it, in the first leg. Yeah, let's let's get out there with a 2 goal advantage. Of course, a win is most important, but I really want to get out there with a 2 goal advantage. And I know it's at Stamford Bridge, but we owe them for not beating them up with 10 men for the majority of the game. Like, we owe them something, and I think, to be fair, no matter what the situation is, going to Stamford Bridge is not easy. So obviously we're gonna feel a stronger side, but we need to go into that. We need to go into that semi-final, and yeah, man, let's just tear them a new one. Let's try and get an early advantage in the first half so that we can chill just a little bit in the second half. You know what I mean? If needed be. But listen, people, look up for tuning in. Make sure you guys smash the like and subscribe. I do suspect that the Sunday show, you know what I mean, the one that comes in the evening, it will be back in the next weekend or the weekend after. You understand? But you know what it is, people. Life gets to life. But yeah, man, listen, don't get it twisted, man. You're going to see me a little bit more often now, you understand? So, yeah, man, listen, people, love for the love. Make sure you smash that like. Make sure you smash that subscribe. And listen, into the fourth round. Do you know what I mean? Um, and yeah, people, if you've been around here before, you know my thing already, man.